Good evening, everybody. Hopefully I'm in the right group. I'm just going to quickly refresh over here and make sure I am. So, yes, I am. So, good evening, everybody from Crystal's Creation. Who have I got on watching with me? Don't forget, because we're on StreamYard, you need to give them permission to show your name to Facebook. Otherwise, I won't know who's with me in the comments. It just comes up as Facebook user. So I'm going to take you through a few bits and pieces to see now, and then answer some questions and just have a bit of a chit chat. Only planning on being here for about half an hour, and then you can get back to your evening. So just going to tag a few people. I think somebody's on with me, so do let me know who's watching so I know who's with me. Danny, well, the D's, Danny, and Debbie, like I was expecting to be with me. So if you are on, do say hi. Do let me know that you're here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to a little presentation that I've prepared that I'm going to share with you. So basically what I'm talking about tonight is different ways that you can use crystals in the home, and thinking about which crystals to use, but also looking at other ways that you can use crystals in your home so they're not necessarily just a pile of rocks sat somewhere. I personally have piles of rocks sat everywhere, but that's not for everybody. There are some other ways that you can think about having them in your home. So that's got that one. And if I share my screen, okay, you should be able to now see the presentation as well as me just tucked up in the corner. So as I said, we're talking about crystals, using crystals in the home today, and the first thing I want to say is, as with all things crystals, be guided by your intuition. Go with what feels right for you. Even if I say one crystal, it might be that you think, oh no, actually I might try this one. Go with your intuition. Think about what you want to achieve. So thinking about the different rooms in the house, so like the bedroom, you're thinking about you want to sleep. The children, you want them calm and relaxed before they sleep. And the other thing is, remember to cleanse and charge them regularly, particularly if you're using a couple of the suggestions that I'll make at the end, because they're almost like doing extra work then. So I think somebody's with me now, but I'm not sure who. So first of all, let's talk about coming into the house, the hall, the front door, whatever you want to call it. So what you want to think about is actually sort of cleansing and protecting your home from any bad energy outside, but also you want wealth and abundance to come in with you. So thinking about the protection, that's where something like your black tourmaline comes in. And then the cleansing is your selenite, and then the wealth and abundance is your citrine. So these are good crystals to have sort of right by your front door, or certainly in your entrance hall. So think about those. But as I said just now, think more about actually what is it you are trying to achieve. Then going onto your lounge in the living room, that's your space you want to relax in. So we're talking, you want good communication for conversations to easily flow, there not be any misunderstandings. So remember when we talked about the throat, so that's where your blue crystals come in. So things like your blue lace, agate, really good for the throat and communication, but it is very, very gentle. And then just for the relaxation, things like amber's very good, but there's lots and lots of stones that you can use for relaxation, and you may have some personal favorites of yours. Then next we move on to the kitchen. So a couple of things to think about here. I mean, first of all, food preparation, you need to be thinking about cleansing and detoxifying, and that's where your quartz comes in, for cleansing and detoxifying the space. But also what that will do is supercharge any of the other crystals that you are using in that space. But thinking of the kitchen, you need to think about actually, how is the kitchen used? Is it somewhere that you just go and cook, or have you got like a kitchen diner, or it's a sort of more open space that's almost got that heart of the home feeling? So you want to bring in some of your rose quartz. If the children sit up to the kitchen table to do their homework, I know a lot of them do it on the computer in their bedrooms, but sometimes they still need to do things like that, and that's where your carnelian comes in for creativity. So it's really thinking about, how does your space, what do you use your space for, and then the crystals you'd use to create those feelings and get those energies moving, it's then decided by that. So moving on from the kitchen, we are then into the bedroom, and I just have to say, all these photos, they're stock photos, and aren't they posh? I wish my rooms and my house looked this tidy. So this is thinking about, you know, the bedroom, you want the romance, you want the love, so that's where your rose quartz comes in. Look at amethyst, you want things to be calm, you want to sleep. And then again, your selenite for that cleansing, but to just a gentle cleansing, nothing too full on, because you want to keep a very relaxed atmosphere in there, because it is, you know, because you don't want things that are going, like phones, that are going to stop sleeping. And then thinking about the bedroom for the kids, they need slightly different things, like hematite, it's very, very good for grounding. Celestite, which is really, this really pretty blue one here, that's about those soothing and nurturing feelings. And then black obsidian here, that is one, a very nice chunk, or about capturing the negative energies. So again, keeping that grounded, nurtured feeling, no negative energy, to keep things very low key in there. Then going into the bathroom, again, your quartz for sort of cleansing and clearing the toxins, the bad energy out of the space, very similar to the kitchen. But then if your bathroom is where you carry out a beauty routine, things like aquamarine have got some good sort of anti-aging properties, so having those out whilst you're doing your beauty routine will give it that extra boost. And of course it'll get that extra boost from the quartz as well. And finally, lots of us work at home, we've got a dedicated space, some of us are lucky to have a room, but there is usually laptops and bits of equipment. It doesn't have to be a whole room, but if you do have things like laptops, etc., think about, and even if they're in the corner of a room, just put a couple of crystals by them. And that's where you can think about things like your black tourmaline or your shungite. I know some of you may have seen this the other day. I've got a disc of it. They're very good for sort of absorbing all the electrical energy and all the negative stuff that comes off with that. And then depending on what you do or what you use, what kind of work you do, if it's something you need to be sort of quite detailed, quite focused on, then things like amethyst and citrine for that focus and concentration. But then if you want to be, if you're sort of more creative and you need to be creating stuff, that is that is where the likes of your carnelian for that creativity would come in. So again, it's about how you use your space. So let's talk about how you can bring the crystals into your homes. So a really good one, particularly in the bedroom, is have things like charging plates and beds. So like an amethyst bed or a selenite charging plate. They're particularly good for popping your jewellery and small crystals on to charge. Normally they don't particularly need cleansing and charging themselves, but if it's kind of doing double duty, cleansing your jewel, charging your jewellery that's got crystals in and having an effect on the room, then obviously you'd need to pay those a bit more attention and do some cleansing and charging on those. Then we've got things like crystal candles. They're quite a discreet way to bring the crystals into your home, particularly if you've got a few skeptics around. Then to them it's just, oh, she's got a smelly candle going again. I know that's huge stereotypes, but so that is another way of just gently bringing it in, and just have your candle in the corner, and as well as the aroma from the candle, you'll also be getting the gentle effects from the crystals. Then you've got things like sun catchers. This one's a tree of life one, but you can have sun catcher like this, a tree of life design, and then actually have crystals as the blossoms in the leaves. It blossoms on the branches and also in the sort of fringing and feathers and ribbons at the bottom. Oh, excuse me. Then particularly good for the children's rooms, I think, is the dream catchers. So they can have a dream catcher, and again in the web you can put crystals, and you can put crystals on this, and you can also talk to them about, you know, it catching the bad dreams, and then they need to pop it in the sunlight to burn the dreams away, particularly for sort of smaller children. Those are very good. Then you can have things like ornaments, and you'll see here I've got a little jade Buddha, and the reason I've put him is the one space that I haven't talked about in your home. It's more feng shui than it is crystals, but it's actually your wealth corner. And it's a good idea to put a piece of jade or a piece of citrine in the wealth corner of your home to encourage it to sort of collect and grow. And that corner, if you think of where your front door is, it is the furthest left point away from your front door. So it'd be, most people it'd be at the back of the house, furthest away from the front door, but on the left. So that's where you put just a bit of jade and citrine for the bringing the wealth, for the wealth corner. And of course, the other thing is lots of jewelry, you know, about wearing earrings, pendants, bracelets, having a thumbstone in your pocket without having lots of rocks around your home. Now, what I'm going to, as soon as I can find them, I've got some posts popping up a bit later talking about some of the ways, and I'm wondering if this will let me open it. Let me have another go. There we go. So here I'm talking about candles. The candles have got crystals in. You can see them, they're actually in the top. You can keep the crystals and use them. They're made from soy wax, so it's clean burning. You don't get any soot or anything like you do from a lot of candles that are made with paraffin wax. Even food grade paraffin, you can get left with some residue. They come in a range of different fragrances. You can choose to have a lid or not a lid. The crystals are at random, but as you can probably see, if I make that a bit bigger, that's a rose quartz, that's a piece of amethyst, that looks like it might be another rose quartz or rhodonite. Not sure if that is green or if it is catching the green from there. So but there's, you know, good, you can bring candles in. Then I talked about sun catchers, and these are really good in the window, or particularly if you've got a conservatory, something like that. So this is just a tree of life design. All around the edge, these are just little, these can be made with tiny crystal chips or little crystal beads. So a bit like the then last of all is your sun catcher. This is mine, excuse my little hoover. But what we can do with these is, where I've got just beads in here, I can actually make them with crystals in. So some of those that we mentioned. And then also, I haven't put anything on my ribbons yet, but you can put beads and crystal chips and all sorts down here. And then they just hang up in the bedroom. So that's just a few ways that you can use crystals in your home. Those posts with the bits on are scheduled to pop up. They'll start popping up in about 10 minutes, about half an hour intervals, so they'll be up in the feed later for you to have a look at. Don't forget to give me a hashtag replay, hashtag sorry I missed you. Any questions, put them in the comments and I can come back and answer those later or tomorrow. Let me know what you thought of this, whether you think it's worth me doing another one again, maybe on a different topic, just that bit more sort of focused and in depth, rather than my usual starting off on one thing and ending up rambling about something else. But do let me know what you think and any of the topics you'd like to see in a bit more detail for this, and thank you very much for joining me. Have a good evening. Bye for now.